Yeah.
Oh,
How are
She's
you?
here.
Hi.
hey,
Wait,
Hey,
Lynn.
I
hey,
can't
hey.
see anything. One second. Do you guys see me?
Hmm.
Yes, we
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
you.
Okay. Is it okay? Good. Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
You to me. So, hi guys.
Hi, how are you?
How's it
Lynn,
going, Lynn?
Hi.
fresh out of the gym, right? You just finished your
Yeah.
workout.
Well, actually, like what, an hour ago, something like that.
What do you have today? What do you do?
Shoulders and back, my faved.
That's your favorite? I mean, your shoulders are super
Well, right
capped
now
out
I've
now.
been obsessed with glutes because that's what they've been asking me. So, like, I'm such a stubborn, so I was just like, I want to train glutes every day now.
How do they feel about the upper body?
I thought I had a big upper body for all the older girls, but they're telling me that it's okay to not grow anymore, that I'm right on spot. But yeah, so right now we are not training to grow, we are training to maintain what we have.
Okay. And that's
No
just for the upper
pumping,
body.
no pump anymore. Excuse me.
That's for the upper body.
That's for my upper body. For my lower body, they're telling me not to grow, but to add density, which that's the hard part because density comes with time and that mature muscle takes time. So we are just trying to grow into a show, bring a better package, and be lucky to, you compete with whoever shows up. So that's the goal right now. Try to add the density that I possibly can in the next 11 weeks.
Bikini
That's
girl
amazing.
with her favorite day is back and shoulders. I've never heard that. Every bikini girl
Yeah.
is like, I love training glutes, and
I
now you.
mean, right now, I love training glutes because it's just an obsession that I have right now. Because when they tell me that I need something, it's just like I go all in for what they're asking. And then for shoulders, I kind of back up a little bit in my way of training. She said at the beginning, just go for a pump. So right now, she said a pump, but with a little bit more intensity, but still don't go overboard. Like don't train like, because normally I can go 45, 50 shoulder press and they'll go heavy as hell. And then she's like, no, Lynn, you just need to just a little pump with a little intensity. So it's not my favorite anymore because I cannot push myself the way I'm pushing with glutes because I like lifting
Yeah.
heavy and I cannot do that right now for sure.
Let's take this back real quick. What got you into bodybuilding and specifically the bikini category?
What
Yeah.
got me, to be honest with you, when I first started back in 2019, I really didn't know anything about bodybuilding. I basically was overweight. I started like I was touching the 160s, 165. I'm 4'11. So
Wow.
I was heavy,
Do
heavy.
you have any pictures of that? Can we bring that up?
It's
Oh
on your
yeah.
ins-
I
it's
mean,
on.
how do I share this?
Is it
Like
is it is it on your Instagram?
it is on my Instagram. I think it's like new me. But I'm the type of girl that if I gain weight, I gain weight everywhere. Like my face gets puffy, my shoulders, my everything. Like if you go to my highlights, I don't think you will see anything
Highlights.
on my feet, like all the way back. Like keep going, keep going, keep
Yeah,
going,
we gotta
keep
go
going.
way
I
back.
think where it says new me or something like that, it should be there. It will
New
take a
me.
yeah, it is. It
Wow,
is.
you have the most highlights
I
Highlights.
ever on
know.
bikini.
I know. It's been a while. Like, yeah,
My
like
God. Oh
probably that
yeah,
one,
it's like
you
it's
mean.
like basically your first one.
Yeah. So let's see. Probably, hopefully, is there. But yes.
Wow.
Okay.
You see, that's what I say. Like, I'm the type of girl that I gain weight everywhere. So you won't really see me like the one you couldn't tell that I'm 165 there or 160.
That's
So
crazy.
That's
yeah.
amazing though, because you keep yourself in shape now year round.
Yeah. This is the last prep. This is for the Arnolds one day out.
So like, I first knew about you because obviously you're all over the wall in the gym. And then
Yeah.
obviously you've been in prep for, I mean, you're going to be competing again this year. So you'll probably be on prep, what, 10, 12 months total?
Well, for this one, I started with a new coach. I started with her November 2023. So we didn't really jump into prep because I was coming from a really bad situation in terms of hormones and, body composition. So she wanted to work on my food intake because I was one of those girls that really suffer into prep. Like I was doing 3 hours of cardio. I was doing
For no
eating
reason.
7 to 800
3 hours a day.
calories, like only tilapia, asparagus. Some days I couldn't even eat the asparagus. I was just basically eating protein. And that, to be honest, hurt me so much that when I did my my second regional show in 2021, I was destroyed. My metabolism was just like not working. And then when I tried to push for other preps, my body was not responding. And I end up quitting in 2022 or 2023. 4 weeks out, I say, I don't like my physique. I was lean and you could see my muscles, but it was a dirty look. When you have a dirty look, your legs looks dirty, your physique looks dirty. It's not something, I mean, bodybuilding is not something like healthy, but you don't need to take yourself to the like to look the way I was looking back then. Like I didn't really enjoy, I didn't like it. I was no balance. My shoulders were overpowering. My legs were overpowering. Everybody was telling me I look wellness, and it kind of mentally I was destroyed. Like I wasn't in a good space. I believed everybody was like 4 weeks out, mind you. And I was like, oh, you're wellness, right? Those things like make me feel probably they didn't mean to say it in a bad way, but I took it in a bad way.
Perception.
Yeah, I was trying to look bikini, and the more I was like showing, because when you're on prep, you take your shirt off and or you're wearing shorts. I got so concerned about my legs that I started to hate my legs. Like I didn't like to wear shorts because every time I was wearing shorts, everybody was talking about my legs. Like, oh, your legs are so big. You look wellness. Why are you keep pushing for a bikini? And comments like that actually put me in a really bad space mentally, and I decided like to stop any prep. I took time off. I hired my new coach, and that's when in 2023 November I started with her. So she started building my metabolic, like my calories up, trying to get me into cardio, bring my body fat percentage. After that, I got my surgery. I got my boobs done, so that took me 6 to 8 weeks away from the gym, and that's how until now, that in November, like it took me 1 year to fix my metabolism, and then I was dropping the body fat. My coach says like, hey, let's go, it's time for you to compete. And then I did my first show, Atlantic Coast, in November, and that was a warm-up show, which I ended up taking second, and it was mentally
before Texas, right?
Before Texas, yeah. It was just a kind of qualify for nationals, but in 2021 I won my first regional show. I took the whole show, the overall, novice, all the medals. I took it home, and doing Atlantic Coast, another regional, and not taking the overall was something that mentally kind of play against me because I'm really competitive, and it kind of like I was like, if I can even win a regional show, how am I going to go to Texas and try to win a pro card? So my coach was super understandable. She talked to me and she said, I'm super concerned about you not winning a show. You're doing this for yourself. You're not doing this for anybody else. Yes, the goal is always winning, but end of the day, this is you versus you, and you definitely look much better, and you're going to keep improving. And that's when I decided to just
No expectations.
Just not have expectations going into a show. Do the controllables, do what I can, and then if it's not up to me the outcome. Like I do everything in my power to bring my very best, but if it's it's up to the judges to decide if it's for me or not. Like I cannot do nothing else.
Can you go to that back? You mentioned that it took you a year to fix your metabolism.
Yeah.
I've had coaches in the past that would give me nothing but fish and the asparagus diet and the 2 hours of cardio, and like you said, it brings that very watery, ugly look.
Dirty
So when I
look.
switched over to G and he started giving me food, I'm like, what is this? What is
Yeah.
carb? Carb
Yeah.
is good.
Yeah.
Like, so can you go into that?
Side note, Lynn, by the way, G coaches both of us. That's why he's referencing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So with Jamie, she said, I already know your body. like it was so little, but she could guess how my body is, and my body is super what's the word when you adaptive, like your body adapts to everything so fast. So she put me, let's say I was eating 800 900 calories, she bumped up to like 1100 calories. I was eating, let's say, 80 grams of carbs, like coming from 0 carbs or little carbs to 90 carbs or 80 carbs was a lot for me. And that is something that my body took it like really good. Like I was little by little, but the cardio was still high. And I have the body that you cannot do a lot of changes at the same time. You have to go little by little. So if she increased the food, she couldn't just reduce the cardio to 0 because my body will be like, what is going on?
Yeah.
So I wanted to compete so bad. And my coach was like, Lynn, you're not ready yet. You're not ready yet. We need to keep working on it. And it was just like that for an entire year. We kept just getting better and better, dropping body fat. Remember, I was with a high body fat. So she couldn't really put the calories up way too high because I was trying to get the body fat low. So we were trying to recomp the body, but at the same time, we were trying to drop the body fat. So it was just kind of like a challenge for me because I was like, what is she trying to do? I decided that Jamie was going to be the last coach that I have. Like if it didn't work with her, I'm not going to have any other coach and I'm going to coach myself, or I'm just going to quit competing, because changing coaches is not something that I recommend because it's just starting from scratch. It's just like having another coach to know your body, go through the same process of like, I had like a trust issue, like, because sometimes, you know, it's hard to trust your body to someone else based coming from a bad coach experience.
Yeah. It's like kind of like getting in a relationship, kind of. You like
It is.
you're putting yourself out there to be
It is.
vulnerable, and yeah,
I,
and you trust these people
I
at the end
think
of the
when
day.
the right time to switch a coach is if um, you're following their plan to a T and you're doing everything you possibly can to be a sponge, take their
Yeah.
advice. But first of all, there's also some times where you have good coach and it's just not working for you because every coach has a
Yeah.
little bit of a different style.
Mhm.
And I also think on the mental side that you spoke about, there's different types of coaches. There are coaches that need to baby people
Yeah.
when their clients need to be babied. Some of our
Yeah.
clients are a little bit more independent. So it
Yeah.
really depends. There's a few different things to look at. But what does get under my skin is when people leave their coach when they're lying to them about their meals, because it
Yes.
is a science. So if I tell G, hey, like I'm I'm eating all 250 grams of rice when in
Yeah.
fact I'm having chicken nuggets instead, or I'm having 100 grams. He's basing all. He gave me a cheat day like last night, and he
The
wants
burger
my
with the
weight.
onion ring.
Yeah, he wants my fats, or sorry, my he wants my fasted weight for today and tomorrow. So like if I didn't do the cheat, or if I had 3 cheat meals, like what's G gonna do with that information?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Well, in my case, I was following everything to the T, but as I said, it was just about relationship. I was starting to have with my previous coach, I was just starting to have a bad relationship with food. Like not in terms of binging, but the opposite. I was scared to eat.
Yeah.
Like, let's say for some reason, like I had a cheat meal. I didn't want to because it was bad for me to eat a burger and fries. I will never like eat a burger and fries. So it was the opposite of me eating more than I was supposed to. That was never the issue. Or let's say the cardio. Like I'm the girl, like I love cardio. Like that is something that I don't understand. Don't ask me. I don't understand, but everybody that I speak, they say, I don't know who you are, but everybody hates cardio and you're the only person that likes cardio. I was doing 3 hours of cardio like nothing. And I could like just watch a movie and I was like, and like in a great, that is not healthy because it creates, normally it creates something in your head that you think cardio is the more you do, the leaner you're going to
Yeah.
look. And
Yeah, that's true.
it's the opposite. And that's the reason why my legs look so big back then, because I had so much inflammation in my legs
Hmm.
that it was not muscle, it was just water
Water.
retention.
Yeah.
And I decided that I didn't want to have or create that bad relationship with food. I was forced to eat and I didn't want to eat. I was like, no, that is
Mm.
when I was with my husband is one of the persons that actually helped me to put things in my meals. I was scared to eat sugar-free ketchup, or I wasn't not supposed to eat more than 3 gums per day, or I couldn't have a cola zero or a diet coke because that will hold water and my legs are gonna look bad. And I had such a bad relationship that I
Wow.
decided not to. I didn't want to keep that um, protocol that I was
Yeah.
told.
That's bad coaching at the end of the day. That all amounts to,
Yeah, even though I
fear
won,
mongering.
even though
Yeah.
I won the show, the entire show, I won, and then I decided, I mind you, I prepped 54 weeks,
Yeah.
one
Wow.
whole year, just for the regional, and then I wanted to do nationals. My show was in August, and then the nationals, I think back then was in November.
November.
I was like, what is 2, 3 more months? Like, I want to do regionals. My feedback from that show was to come in tighter and don't change anything. And the coach says, like, great potential, don't change anything, just come a little bit tight, and you can easily be in the first call outs in your first national. And my coach says, like, no, you're being on prep for 54 weeks, you need to go off season. So I didn't know anything about macros. I didn't do macros back then. So I trusted him and I decided to just do, my off season. And after that, we decided to live everything there. And then I had the mentality that he was the only one that was going to be able to get me lean, because I try by myself. I tried different people to help me to be on prep and nothing worked. I get back to the same coach, experience the same thing, lots of cardio, little food, and until I had the call and I said, you don't care about me. If something happened to me, you're
Yeah.
someone that really don't care about what happens to me. So I decide to break that and start from scratch. And that's when I started with Jamie.
So no matter how mentally strong you are in a sport, everyone is going to have those moments of being susceptible to falling into whether it's body dysmorphia,
Yeah.
fear of overeating, undereating. It can be on the opposite too, right? Sometimes when people are bulking, it's like, oh my God, I got to eat everything, otherwise I'm not going to grow.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you did that helped you get through that? I know that the coaching change helped too,
Yeah.
but are there things that you did when you caught yourself thinking a certain way to help you get back to neutral?
Well, you need to reset. Like, you need to be mentally strong. First of all, to get into bodybuilding, you have to be really mentally strong and know always your why. My why, I had it clear that I wanted to be the first Peruvian to qualify for the Olympia. And I had that goal stick in my head. And there's something that I remind myself is just like, you cannot worry about the future. So something that helped me is that I cannot think what's going to happen tomorrow. Right now, what I need to do today, okay, I need to hit shoulders and back. I need to do 30 minutes cardio, and it's all I care for today. I cannot think tomorrow I'm gonna have hamstrings and glutes. I cannot be thinking what's gonna happen in the future. So thinking in the future gave me so much anxiety. And I couldn't work and focus on the things that I was supposed to do that day because I was so worried about what's gonna happen in the future. Some of the things that I was like, what if I don't win? What people's gonna think? So those are things that I was like, I don't care. Like,
Be
no,
present.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't care. I'm doing this for myself. I'm gonna focus, like, this is me. If I place last, I know that I did everything in my power to be the first one, but it's not up to
Yes.
me. I can't control what the judges are looking for. So those are things that help me go through, all this time, that I don't care and I don't worry about other people's opinion, and that I can worry about the future. I think that is a lot can change.
I like
I
that.
think I lost you guys for a little bit. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, Chris
No,
froze.
that's
Uh,
really good. That's really good mentality stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes we get so caught up in the future that we forget that the journey is a
Yeah.
thing, day by day. Like My girlfriend is competing for or getting ready for her first show. She was so hard on her weight for the first couple of weeks, and I'm like, your body composition's changing. Don't worry about the weight.
Yeah.
That weight's gonna go down. Just, trust the process.
Yeah, I was actually, now that you said that, so at the Arnold's, I was burning crazy amount of calories. I remember, now that you mentioned the weight, today was one of those days that I was like, my weight is up. Like I'm from Arnold's is what, 3 weeks ago? Like I'm 3 weeks post show and I'm 5 pounds up. But if I show you the comparisons one day out versus today, I look absolutely crazy today. I mean, I'm not saying that I didn't look crazy at like one day out, but I just like my physique today better compared to one day out. I'm looking fuller and round, like how they want it, actually, the bikini girls.
It's on
And
your story, right? Your check-in you're talking about?
I post my story, but I didn't post the comparison. I don't know if I can show it here, maybe.
I'm
Maybe.
pretty sure if you message it to Alex on Instagram, it'll pop up.
Yes. So let me see. But it's in my stories too. There you go. I don't know. It's my perception. You probably say no, Lane, 2 days how you look better, but my perception is I do what I do and I like how I look today.
Yeah, everyone's gonna
But
have an opinion.
yeah, it's crazy. So isn't it like my glutes are 1 inch
Yeah, I see you more.
rounded?
Yeah, rounder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even
Wait,
I
my
don't know. Hey,
waist.
what's the weight?
G's the
There's a
coach.
lot of no, yeah. I was gonna say a lot of things come into play with that too. Is just 2 days out, you have so much stress
It is.
and like yeah, like now all that inflammation is kind of off. Your body's in this good state of eating more again
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah.
that the look is very good, much improved. I'm sure the next time that you cut down, it'll look even better.
Yeah. Yeah. No, believe it or not, going into a show, especially when it's not in your town and you have to travel and all those things play against, then I think that's spike up my metabolism too. Because I think I talked to Alex the other day about it. Like I was burning through food like crazy. Like the day before, I panicked and that play against my
You were crushing the
show
rice
day.
cakes. Rice
What
cakes.
is it?
You were crushing the rice cakes.
Yeah, like the day
Sweets.
before, I was eating normal carbs. And I remember calling my trainer and telling him, I'm not gonna look full tomorrow. And I started panicking because normally I always eat, let's say when she sends me refeeds, I eat burgers and fries. So I do 2 burgers and a large fry. Sometimes I
Ooh.
make them at home or sometimes I eat them out. But I was trying to play and control the data. So the last few weeks I was cooking the burgers, making them myself to control all the macros. And I was eating around 300, 320 grams of carbs. And that day my coach was like, let's just go clean. We don't want to mess up your stomach, blah, blah, blah. It was, I think, 6, 7 p.m. And I was like, I look so flat and skinny. I don't like it. Like I was not getting full. And my coach says, like, we definitely need to put and bump up your calorie, like your carbs. So she said, for your last meal, eat 200 grams of sweet potatoes and a little bit of fats and a little bit of protein. I end up eating 450. I risked and I end up increasing my own carbs to 450 and then 3 or 4 rice cakes on top of that. And then I didn't say anything. I went to bed. I slept. I woke up 7 a.m. I go and I do in-person check-in with my coach. And she said, oh, you look definitely fuller. And I said, I need to tell you something. And she said, what happened? I said, I ate more than what you told me. And she said, how much more? I said, I eat 450 grams of carbs. She said, oh, wow, you really push carbs, huh? And I said, listen, I had this data and this is what I normally, and I'm such a nerd. If you follow me on Instagram, you will see me tracking my weight, but not because I'm obsessed with the scale, but it's just as a data. Right now it's just data that I want, how I look with refeeds, with not refeeds, with how much carbs I look better. And all of those things, if you take all of those points, you will really be able to in the future pick yourself correctly. And
Yeah.
that is what helped me that day. It's not that I'm not coachable. I was like, I know what I was doing. And
You had accountability though. Hey, that's
yeah,
something that, you
I didn't
know,
say anything though. I didn't say
until
anything. I
after.
let her
Yeah.
see, like I
Yeah.
let her see me. And she said, like, oh, you definitely look better today, like so much fuller. And I said, then,
But
okay,
here's the
this is
thing.
what I did. She
You're a
said,
student of the game, right? You are a
yes,
student of the game.
yes.
And it's totally okay. If there are athletes that are they don't want to think about it as much and they'll
Mhm.
just do what their coach says, and that is fine. But I'm a bit like you. I love the data of it. I
Yeah.
nerd out a little bit. I have a friend that's even more nerdier than I think both of us. I mean he was 3 years out from a show and he was tracking his water every single day. I mean, and I know for me when I got a prep, I was counting my tracking my gum for my first prep. I was just going crazy. But at the
Yeah.
end of the day, like when you made that adjustment, like yes, you did something your coach told you not to, but you had a good the ability to bring that knowledge that you've picked up over time, and you did it
Yeah.
for a reason. At the end of the day, you didn't
Yeah.
blindly do it. You did it for
No,
a reason,
No,
and you held
no.
accountability.
nobody
Yeah,
knows you better than you do.
Exactly. And especially when every week you've been having a refeed. Because I was like going into Arnold's every single week, I was having a refeed. I was extremely lean. And well, I'm still lean, but I was really like, I was able to push for the refeed. And I'm not sure if my coach got me the refeed just for, as a mental thing, or it was actually to just, give me a break, or for mental thing, or for because my body needs it. But I was taking it as data. I wanted to see how my body react, because I was like, maybe I need a burger and fries before the show. My husband eats burger and fries before the show because clean food doesn't work on him. And I think I'm the same. Like if you give me something clean, my body doesn't understand, and it thinks it's the same that I'm eating every single day, because the foods that we eat on show day and the day before the show is the same food that I eat every single day. So it is something that we're still learning, and I love my coach because she really listens to me. She understands my points, and then she's like, okay, now I know that I can push food on you. And then I was the type of person that I think that if you give me food before the show, like let's say 1 or 2 days out, and the day of the show not eat anything, I will look better if the food is dense. But my coach says, like, no, Lynn, you really need to eat on show day. And I was scared because I'm so concerned about my waist that if I eat too much the day of the show, my
You're gonna
waist is
spill.
gonna get thicker.
Yeah.
So she's like, Lynn, even if I give you a lot of food, your waist is extremely tiny. Stop worrying about your waist because you're messing up your thrombos. And that is what helped me on stage, because she's like, sit on that glute so it looks rounded, and I was just not sitting on the glute, and it's a lot. So that stress, back into what you said, that I think Jan said about, like, the stress going into show, it actually plays against. You have to kind of take some gummies or something to just kind of relax and chill, because it's like the flying, the tanning, at 4 a.m. the makeup, at 5 a.m. the other tan coat. And that is something that I decided to do for future shows, is that I'm going to be doing my own tanning.
Yeah.
I don't want to, be naked in front of everybody. And they're always rushing, and they always put you in the earliest appointment. And I need to sleep. If I have bad sleep the day of the show, I'm not gonna look good. All of those things play against me in the past, and I wanted to be able to control as much as I can to look my very best on stage.
do you practice your tanning?
Well, for this coming show, my friend is gonna come with me. She's gonna do it for me, because you need some areas that you cannot reach, so you have
Of
some
course.
help. And we spoke about it. She's one of the girls, my best friend Maria. She's been telling me, like, Lynn, you need to do your tanning, because at the Arnold's I was patchy. I have white spots everywhere because they're rushing. They
You
just
said you
came
had
in
one
Yeah.
leg was a bit orange, right? You said one of the legs was a little bit
was
different than the other.
white. My
Was white.
hamstring, yeah,
Was
my
white.
hamstrings were white, and then you can see in the front, my legs were like yellowish, whitish, and I was just like, ah. So those are things that, believe it or not, you think like, oh, it's pointless, but it does play against you because what happens if the other girls are perfectly tan? They're gonna look, better. And same with the makeup, same with the bikini. If you don't choose the right cut and the back, then you're
Appearance is everything.
everything, especially bikini, like bikini is all about how you looked. But I'm happy with that package that I brought to the Arnold's. I can't complain about anything. I really,
Question about that. The one that you had pulled, they pulled the one that Alex pulled up before that you had 2 days out and how you are now. Um, what do you think about like the criteria of bikini? Do you think they lean more towards the look that you have on the right with less? Because on the left and 2 days out, it looked like you had more, I would say, definition through your legs.
yeah, which I actually thought that because the Arnolds, they always go for that look. And
Mm,
the girl who won her pro card, she was going more into the softer look. I don't think there was a lot of conditioning, but that's the bubbly muscle, the rounded muscle. And you can see my legs, like I had like, a lot of lines in my legs. And I think how I look today, it's a look that actually benefit me more if I
towards the
really
criteria.
towards their criteria.
Yeah.
Bikini, we thought like, oh, with bikini, with the fit model division, the girls who doesn't want to push too much muscle, and it was going to help the bikini girls. But I feel like now bikini is getting really, really hard. They're asking for muscle maturity, density, and that is something hard. Like, people underestimate bikini girls, like, but these girls, like, they're on the game. Like, they lift heavy. There's no like, oh, because everybody laugh about, make fun of bikini training, but you see these girls like lifting for a plates, hip thrust, and then you get me, like, it's just crazy. Like, not as crazy as wellness, but it is
I
still,
think
a lot.
every division is evolving. And as with any sport over
It is.
time, it's going to get more and more competitive.
Mhm.
I mean, you look at bikini and men's physique specifically because of the popularity, the amount of athletes entering the shows. I mean, frankly, you look at MP guys or bikini girls in the off season, you would think they're just, if you were not in the sport, per se, or knew a lot about the sport, you would say, "Oh, those are just bodybuilders," and we are bodybuilders, but we're supposed to be the entry level divisions.
Yeah, no, and now that you mentioned the off season, I think, in my opinion, things that play against me in terms of like off season is that you think you need to go 30 or 40 pounds up of your stage weight, and that's what actually doesn't benefit me. I'm gonna talk about myself. I don't know about other girls, but I think keeping or maintaining, I'm not saying staying lean 365, but just putting about 10 pounds above my stage weight, that is something that it will help me in terms of conditioning. Because if you put 30, 40 pounds in the off season, then yes, you can bring those 40 pounds down, but the conditioning, the skin, the quality of your skin is not gonna be the same as if you keep it just, a decent body fat.
Mm.
I'm not going for the 2 hours cardio anymore. Like, I think for the Arnolds going into the show, I was in disbelief of me doing 10 minutes cardio only. And I was just like mind blowing, because I remember in 2021, I was like 2 hours and 40 minutes cardio going into a
That's
show. And,
crazy.
and that is, yeah, you don't need that. And now that I learn more and I keep learning more, you don't need that. If you need to do 2 3 hours of cardio a day, just don't pick a show. I always tell my friends, if you want to compete, prep to be on prep. Try to bring your body fat down, and then once you get to a decent body fat, then that's when you pick a show. Because what's the point of you trying to kill yourself 12 weeks and trying to bring down 40 pounds? It's just,
It's not
Well,
fun.
I want to talk about
and
that for
it's
a
not
second.
fun. You're gonna have miserable
For the
prep.
12-week, I guess years ago, it was always thought that a prep's supposed to be 12 weeks, but I mean, that's just nonsensical, right? Because every athlete's different, every coach is a different process. I think the moral of the story is stay in your own lane, do what's
Mhm.
right for you. If it needs to be 16 weeks, 20 weeks, it doesn't need to be 12 weeks. In fact, that would be really short of a prep, to be honest.
Well, remember, if you maintain a decent body
Right.
fat
Yeah.
and then you're ready, I always say like the girls that already have like they have the muscle that they need and they have a really decent body fat, yeah, they can do a prep in 12 weeks. But if you're someone that is 30 pounds heavy and you need to lose 30 pounds and you still don't have the muscle or you still don't know, yeah, you can prep in 12 weeks. Impossible to prep in 12 weeks. Like, yeah, you're gonna drop the weight, but you're not gonna look good.
I think it also depends on body type because you'll see that some people, like our friend Danny, for example, he was on the podcast earlier, and his body just wants to be skinny. Like
Danny Light.
it wants to be shredded. He burns through food. He's got to shovel food down to get big. So for him, he's always going to look relatively in shape,
Lean.
even if
Yeah.
he's pushing the food. Whereas some people are just going to have a little bit more fluff. Totally get your point. I do agree with you. I think that people need to be more realistic about where they should be starting point for prep, but at the same time, not be hard on themselves if they're not looking like chiseled out of granite rock,
Yeah, no,
in 6 months out of the show.
yeah, like that's one of the things that when I started working with my coach, I told her, can you please not tell me what show I'm doing? Just do not. I don't want to know. Don't tell me. I don't want to know. Like, pick the show for me. When you see that I'm ready, tell me 4 weeks how I'm ready. I don't want to know because first of all, like we'll create back to the anxiety and like worry about the future. Because I always see girls and I respect that they say 10 weeks out, 8 weeks out, and that gives me anxiety. Like I cannot count the weeks. If you ask me, Lynn, how many I know now because my coach just told me I'm 11 weeks out and we are doing this show, but I don't count the weeks. And that is something that I will keep it the same way because I just want to focus on like one day at a time.
Yeah.
Then you get injuries, right? And that can really weigh on the mental side of things because if you're like, oh, I'm 10 weeks out, shoot, my shoulder's hurting me now, and then you're trying to rush the recovery to meet your timeline when in fact if you just took maybe 2 weeks of physical therapy, picked a show after that, you'd be better off.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I think, thanks God, I didn't get any injuries so far. Like I've been on this for what, 5 years now, 6 years. And as I mentioned before, I come from zero. Like I don't have any sports background. In school, nothing. Like I hated the gym. I was one of those girls that was in the gym taking selfies. And I was like, okay, I made it to the gym. And I was just like walking on the treadmill. Like I just didn't know what to do, but it was just not like because I want to take selfies. It's just like you don't know when you first go to the gym, you don't know what to do. You feel uncomfortable because you see everybody minding their business and you think they're staring at you. And the most comfortable way to stay, and I don't know, like that, okay, I'm gonna pretend that I know what I'm doing is just walking because you know how to walk. So that was me. I was like, okay, I'm done. And then selfie, okay, peace out, I'm done. And
I
that's
made
it.
it to the gym.
Yeah, and then that was what back in 2018 when I decided that I want, but 2019 that I decided to, you know, change my life, like my lifestyle. I come from a long relationship, and things didn't go end up well, and I wanted to escape. Sometimes we escape, people in general, we escape from doing good things. We want to escape doing good things or bad things. Thanks God, I decided to escape from that bad situations doing something good, which was getting a membership in the gym. And then after that, I saw a girl, one of my friends, Carla, she was doing a bikini show. And I said, like, oh, I want to do that. It seems challenging. I was doing boxing. I was just trying to do everything just
Something.
to
Yeah.
get distracted.
Yeah.
And I was doing boxing. I saw my friend doing bikini competitions. I said, I want to do that. I hired a local coach, Lolita. I remember she prepped me for like 7 weeks. And then I was like, I didn't know what first call out was. Like I take those as experiences, you know, that's how you learn. If you don't make mistakes or if you don't do anything in life, then you're not living. That's what life is about, doing good and bad. And if you make mistakes, you learn from it and you keep going. I
Yes.
did my prep in 7 weeks. Um, I end up on the stage with a green bikini with my makeup all crazy looking, and I
Oh, do
end
we
up,
have a picture? I want to see that.
yeah, it probably is on my Instagram and somewhere there, but I was just like, please, I don't want to see it. But
How far
probably
back?
a comparison somewhere there. If it is there, but I always do comparisons. That was in 2021. That's
What's this?
definitely not the one. That's when I won the overall.
So, Lynn, I
And
had a question for you. With your foot posing on your right foot, I've noticed that you're very like your right foot is very straight.
yeah,
And not many girls do that. I didn't know, is that like an activation thing for your quads that just
no,
works for you?
well, you know, my hamstrings are pretty developed, like, and it will actually make me look like I'm way quad and
Like
hamstring dominant.
like
So
wellness?
no wellness, but it kind of like, you know, doesn't enhance my physique. So it, remember, posing is bikini is all about balance. So I feel like when my feet straight or my foot straight, it actually gives me more symmetry with my upper. Oh my God, that is, when was this?
20, 2021
I
No,
get
or
what you're
that
or
saying.
was
20?
when,
Because you get to hide your hamstring.
yeah, I kind of I needed to hide my hamstrings. There was a point where I stopped training hamstring.
So this was 3 years?
No, I don't. This one
20.
was like back in 2020, 2020, the green one in 2020.
Let's go
And
down.
then where else? Let's see. I think I should have one. If not, I can send it to
You
Alex.
definitely have the glute genetics, that's for sure.
Yeah. Actually, today I was just like, what if I post like wellness? And my friend was like, Ling, no.
Does a part of you feel like you would ever want to do wellness or
Yes, but no. How do I say? It's like a combination
that blows
of,
my mind. Yes, but no.
it is, it's mixed feelings.
Yeah.
Like you know, I love lifting heavy. People always say, Lynn, you're so strong. And I am strong. I feel like I'm strong. And I always say, like, okay, but this is not about who's the strongest. Because if it's about who's the strongest, then I'll do powerlifting and
Yep.
I will change the sport. Um, I have the genetics for wellness. Yes. Do I want to push the way wellness girls are pushing? No. Um, I am already on my 30s and I have a husband and I wanted to do a family. I think bikini is something that it will take me or get me closer to my goals. And I mean, maybe because the genetics, I really cannot push a lot of stuff, but that is something that the off season, I don't like it. Remember, if you guys, you know, listen to me, I said I come from 160, touching 165 pounds. So do I want to bring those negative feelings? Because I was one of those girls that back before bodybuilding, my friends, let's say, hey, Lynn, let's go to the beach. I was like, no, I don't want to put a bikini because, you know, I didn't look comfortable in my own skin. And I don't want to do wellness just because I still probably haven't healed that part of me being a big girl in the
You
past.
fully healed it. Now you're on stage in the bikini in front of everybody.
Right. But
In front of thousands of people.
for
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
thousand people, yeah, definitely. But I just don't want it. You know, in order for anybody to grow, you really need to eat and put a little bit of body fat. And I think for bikini, you can maintain a fit physique and still improve. Like right
Yeah.
now, I'm I'm a little bit, I'm in a surplus right now, kind of eating 1800 calories. And that's a lot. I've never thought I was able to push that much food, especially on prep. And you know, I'm still improving and getting better, growing into a show. It's possible you can do that, and little by little. And bikini, it's bikini is my baby. I love
You like the
bikini.
look. You like the look.
Yeah.
I love the look. Yeah.
You know what's incredible is that from the outside, people that I know who are not in bodybuilding, they think that bodybuilding is gonna ruin our self-image because of the body dysmorphia. But in fact, many people like you have actually used bodybuilding to improve their self-image
Well, it
and their
depends.
confidence.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. But it just go from person to person. I cannot say everybody think the same way as I do. You have to be mentally strong because I always like I believe like bodybuilding can completely transform you and change your life. But if you're not mentally strong, it can destroy you
Yes.
because the body dysmorphia, we all have it. Even people that they're not into bodybuilding, they still have body dysmorphia. Girls who was like, oh my God, look at this, and they touch themselves. They don't even train, but they have the body dysmorphia. But you can damage and destroy yourself a lot if you're not mentally there. And that is something that before, I think I tell people before competing, just know your why and know what you're getting yourself into it because it's not for everybody. Definitely not for everybody. As I said before, like like the food disorder, like you can have eating disorders, not probably not binging, but the opposite, like not wanting to
Yeah.
eat. What happened when you reach the lean body that you always dreamed? Then you want to think that that is something that you can be all year round, and that is not healthy because being lean stage ready, it's not for like, for a 365.
It's not sustainable.
It's not so I think that if you have those type of issues, I think you need to just prepare yourself before getting into bodybuilding.
I think this is a good segue into the importance of a great circle of people around you.
Yeah,
And it doesn't need to be the same people, right? Like if you start off in the sport and you feel like you're not, your mental health isn't where you want to be, it's okay to
yeah,
change that circle.
definitely.
I had a different circle last year and it didn't do me any favors. And
Yeah,
now working with G as my coach and obviously my teammates like Chris, it's changed everything for me for the better.
yeah.
Um, and I think
Never be afraid to
I
walk
just
away.
shared a post with them. It's like it was a gif of Ronnie Coleman and Jay Cutler, and it was like maybe the real gains were the friends made along the way.
Yeah.
Um, and I thought that was just really powerful. It was just a silly post on Instagram, but that actually really hit me because, a lot of this self-growth you're talking about, you mentioned you had your husband in your corner, you really love your new coach, like that's gonna be the last coach you ever work with. Those
Yeah,
are strong statements, and so I can't stress it enough, and it's not talked about enough. Like especially with the people, the new amateurs coming into the sport, the new fit model girls. I really hope that more people discuss the importance of having a really really
Strong
strong
circle.
circle. Yeah.
yeah, no, definitely. Like I'm the type of person, like, or the type of girl that you always gonna see me training alone. And I think I'm my own best friend. Like I think energy is so strong and I have such a strong intuition of like I don't need, and this is not about judging people, but it's this like
You
you
don't
can
want the
actually,
fakeness.
yeah, I can for far away. And
Yes.
that is, I'd rather be alone and have no friends and have my dogs and my husband. And I'm truly, truly happy because the less people you have in your circle, of course you want best I have my best friend and I have, people that really care, my family that care for me, that supports me, but I really protect my energy. You will never see me training with anybody, not because I don't like it, but it's just that I'm so focused on my goals.
Goal. Yep.
And you do want people to support you, but sometimes the best way that others support you is to stay away
Hmm.
from
It doesn't
you.
need to be a training partner. I think it's more just about like, the peak week before a show. Like who are the people that you're texting or who are texting you?
Or
And
checking in or
what
Yeah,
kind of messages are subliminally getting into your head from the outside? What kind of noise are you allowing in? Because I agree with you. I mean, I like to train alone too. That's
yeah.
completely fine, but that's a good point.
If I'm honest with you, I have two friends that one lives here, one doesn't live in Florida, but that I'm like like she's already a pro, and I think it's super cool to be around people that is doing better than yourself because you learn from them, and that is something that I always put my head down and I put the ego on the side. I don't pretend I know everything. I learn a lot for being 5 years in bodybuilding or doing bodybuilding. I learned so much because, as I mentioned before, I'm such a nerdy. I want to learn. I want to know more. And having people that are doing better than yourself. She's seventh in the world, and she just plays fourth at the Arnold's. And I always tell what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling. And I'm like, I know, let's say today I was telling her, like, yeah, I'm a little bit softer, or I'm looking like this, or I don't know. She's like, what do you see yourself in the mirror? I say, like, I see a fuller look, less lines, but more bubbly physique. And she said, like, okay, so then if I put you on stage tomorrow, I'm pretty sure you're gonna do better than what you did at the Arnold. So like having people that actually know what they're talking about and that will help you get better, and not only physically but mentally. She helped me tremendously to get, you know, during this prep, to grow mentally, because she already experienced all of this situation. She's been a pro since 2020, and she knows what I feel. She knows what I'm going through. She experienced myself in 2022 when I quit 4 weeks out. And I remember I was holding my front post and my check-ins, and you see me in my video like crying, because I'm like, I'm doing everything
Yeah.
you're telling me to do, and my body's not responding.
Responding. Yeah.
And I was like, I still have that picture, and I'm like, I don't wanna do this. I was to the point that I started to get annoyed by, bodybuilding. Like I was like, and back to the, if you're not strong mentally, bodybuilding can really destroy you. I was feeling like bodybuilding was destroying me back in 2022, when my body was doing so much and not responding. The more I appreciate my body, the better my body started to respond. We normally, when we are on prep, we are always asking our body for more. We
Mhm.
never give ourselves credits or enough credits. I was like, why my shoulders are so small, or why I don't have a smaller waist, instead of saying, I'm like, oh girl, you look so hot today. Or,
Self-talk. The way you talk to
yeah,
yourself, your body listens. The tongue is
yeah,
mighty powerful, like the
so
Bible says. So like if you're speaking life into yourself, that's when you get that glow about you,
yeah,
you know?
yeah, absolutely. Like I was just taking extra rest days. Today, I used to feel so bad for taking a rest day. Right now, if I feel like taking 2 or 3 days in a row of rest days, I don't allow my mind to say you're cheating or you are not doing enough.
Yeah.
When I start having those toxic thoughts, I do the opposite. Or when my thoughts are trying to control me, I do the opposite of what my mind is telling me to do. Same when you're supposed to do your cardio and I feel lazy and I don't want to do it, because we all have those days. It's not that every day I wake up motivated to go do my cardio, even though I loved it. But you controlling your brain and your thoughts are the number one step that I'll say is what helped me build the strength that I have today. Like you can tell me, Lynn, you look horrible, and I'm not laughed, and I'm like, okay.
Good for
But
you,
if,
bro.
yeah, I'm like, okay. But if you, like, let's say you said that like 2 years ago, I'll probably cry my eyes and be
Yeah.
like, totally destroyed, and probably would have never stepped on stage, because I used to believe so much what other people thought about me. And the moment that I stopped caring is the moment that I started to be the happiest girl. And now you see me, I'm like enjoying,
Slay.
and yeah, yeah.
She's hip thrusting like 30 plates with a huge grin on her face.
Yeah. I got
Like,
this.
and yeah,
Well,
no, I
I think
love it.
there's something to be said though that, when you start a sport, it's not gonna be pretty to start.
No.
Like it takes time. The sport takes time.
Growing
Oh,
And I
pains.
think you're at the level now where, when you're at the national level or and even regionally, if you're taking a sport seriously and you've been in it 4 or 5 years, you're gonna know your body pretty well. And
yeah,
so you've been able to give yourself the grace to say, I
yeah,
have the data, but to be honest, like if you weren't a student of the game, that would be a lot harder. If
yeah,
people are not going to do their due diligence and do the work, they may not be able to give themselves the same kind of grace you can.
Yeah, because remember, there's not so much that your coach can do if you're not helping him. It's a team. And that is something that sometimes I take part of. Like I say, I'm not blaming anybody, but I was like, okay, I'm hired coach, I'm paying you this, do the thing. But then end of the day, he doesn't know how my body responds. He doesn't know what works for me. I need to study and get my own data so I can provide this information to him. And then together we can actually work. I told my coach the same thing. I'm like, listen, before you, I was doing this. Burger and fries works good for me. At the beginning, she didn't really went all in for it until one day she said, Ling, I'm gonna give you. We started not with refeeds, but we started with 300 flex calories, we call it, let's say. So let's say I wanted to eat a protein bar. That was my 200 flex calories, you know, like little by little. And then after that, one day I said, listen, coach, I eat the burger and fries. And then she said, oh, and it did good. And then she started little by little trusting me that I knew what I was doing. And then, you know, together. And then she kept the cheat meal or the refeed. And if you don't try, that's what I told my friend. I was like, if you don't try and you don't experiment with your body, then you will never know. You're always going to be stuck with tilapia and asparagus because you don't want to break that pattern of
That
like,
cycle, yeah.
yeah, like this prep and the last one, I haven't eaten tilapia. Like, I don't know about the thing, but I don't believe anymore in tilapia. Like, I didn't eat tilapia. I didn't eat asparagus. I ate the same breakfast, my pancake, oats. I didn't change anything that I was eating through the entire year. So maybe that was just me. I'm not talking for everybody because everybody's different, but
But
that
knowing
is,
your body is half the battle at the end of the
yeah.
day. If you know your body's digesting it well, if you know your body's absorbing it well,
Yeah.
all that
Same with
plays
the
a
Greek
factor.
yogurt. Probably people say, like, why are you eating Greek yogurt? My husband told me, I was like, that has lactose. Why are you eating? That's gonna bloat you. I asked my coach, I was like, listen, my husband gave me this comment. What do you think? He was like, Lynn, you've been eating Greek yogurt for a year. Your body didn't give you this sign. It's actually helping with your bowel movement. Like it's
Yeah, the
something that,
probiotic. Yeah.
yeah. So why would you cut it right now? I mean, it's pointless. So we kept that Greek yogurt. Probably if I give you Greek yogurt right now, you will be crazy bloated,
Yeah.
and it it depends from body to body. But I took notes of everything. Like, okay, today let's sweet potatoes. They don't do good on me. Maybe they do good on you. And that's how you learn. If you try and you experiment, but if you are just always rice, chicken, potatoes, and that's all you eat, then how you gonna know if you respond good to, I don't know, other kind of foods? Because I don't know about you guys, but I do macros, and sometimes you guys probably do meal plan, and that
I
is
started my first 3 years. I was doing macros.
yeah,
Actually, all my shows so far I've done macro based until I switched to my coach, but prior to G and G himself, now I'm on meal plans. And G, I'll let you talk a bit more about this, but um, I find macros definitely more flexibility in the
yeah,
sense that, we have life, right? Like I have a job, day job that's nothing to do with bodybuilding. And
yeah,
sometimes it's really hard with traveling and it's not hard to get the food in. It's more so the meals can be limiting because then you have to travel with the meals. Whereas macros, if you're stuck in an airport, you can, find the chicken in the shop and mix it with the bagels. It depends, but it also depends if you're close to the show or not. But
yeah.
G, what have you ever had athletes on macro based, or have you always been meal planning?
I would say macro based more for lifestyle clients, not competitive clients. I for the competitor, I prefer more of a plan, but just also that you can do substitutions. So the same thing like Lynn said is like some things may not agree with you. If you're having rice on the plan, you'll find that out within the first week or two of you eating it if it's going to agree with you or not. And then you can always do substitutes like potatoes or cream of rice or so I'd rather do like substitutes instead of macros on competing just because to control the variables. I feel
Yeah.
like when you have a macro plan, especially you can just be as flexible as you want and you can add
Well,
Cereal,
here's
ice
the thing
yeah,
though.
cream.
Here, but
It's
here, all
just
you
right.
can add
So,
things that won't
so
really be beneficial to you
I,
or have a good amount of vitamins and nutrients and things that you need for
I think
day-to-day
going back to
goals.
the macro base though, you have to be a diligent, disciplined athlete. Because when I was on macro diet, I wasn't just eating donuts to fulfill X amount of fats. I think that's the
Yeah.
problem with macro base is that people think that anything fits, but not all foods are equal, right? And so
No.
I'm pretty much eating the same food on my meal plan as I was on macro base. It's just a little different, right? Like maybe I would have more rice with my meal 5 than my meal 3. And so I guess with G now, he's a bit more structured. So now my body is used to the timing and the amount of food throughout the
Mhm.
day.
It's also
Whereas,
dependent on the
yeah,
the individual too, though, because everybody has different triggers when it comes to food as well.
Yeah.
Some people can have some peanut butter and they'll go and eat the whole jar. You put 32 grams of peanut butter on their plan.
Yeah.
discipline, right? They got to be
So
disciplined.
yeah,
They
32
have to
ounces.
have that discipline. They have to have that discipline.
But
yeah.
there's also a misunderstanding, like people assume that just because you're doing macros, you can do, or what, as Alex said, like feed everything and just go McDonald's and get like a cheeseburger and put it in. Like, no, like when I say I do macros is because I still control my sodium intake. I have an amount, like I'm on 3,000 amount of sodium right now, and I control it. Like let's say if I have a Diet Coke, I control my Diet Coke. It's 1 gram of carbs, like everything, it's more detailed, still have accurate information.
Yeah.
When I do macros, I'm not saying I'm gonna eat, like I said, cheeseburger or French fries. I'm still eating the same food as if I'm eating a meal plan. But let's say if today I want to eat potatoes instead of rice, I can do this switch. But I still eat whole foods. I don't need cheese or anything that, okay, just because it fits my macros, I'm gonna put it in my fitness pal and then that's it. Because end of the day, who's hurting? It's me. Like I'm gonna get
Yeah.
hurt for the choices that I do. So I basically eat same breakfast every day, meal too same, unless it's glute days. I change that. That's another thing. If I eat meal plan, then my meal is gonna be the same every single day. But now we want to do more density, so we are changing the pre-workout and the post-workout meal on glute
Glute
days.
days. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm putting more, maybe ground beef with rice, and I'm putting banana for the pre-workout with honey so I can get a nice pump. And those things are something that it fits my macros, but probably if I do. And one of the reasons why I like macros is because I was getting a bad relationship with food. And macros allow me to not be afraid of food. Because before I used to do meal plan and I was so restricted that I couldn't see other than my chicken and rice and my egg whites and my oatmeal for breakfast.
Mm.
Right now, I decide what I eat, and I think that it helped me so much with my eating problem that I don't
Yeah.
think I have it anymore. So it
Now,
depends.
from eating 900 calories to eating what you're eating now,
Almost
there's a big
200
difference.
grams of carbs. I was like, what
Blessed.
is this?
I think
Like,
a
Bless.
that
lot
is
of
for me
a,
amazing.
a
Like,
lot of people think the sport is just about, eating a lot and then starving yourself, but they don't take into account the nuances of the timing of when you add food and you remove food. Because I had one lifestyle client and she came to me because her nutritionalist was telling her, I think she had her at about 1,000 calories a day, but she wasn't losing any weight. It was staying the exact same. And I told her, I was like, but your metabolism is completely shut down and you're not
Yeah.
burning as much. And I was like, so out of curiosity, what is the next step according to your nutritionalist? And she said, oh, she'll drop me to like 700. I'm like, so what are you eventually going to be in the negatives? I mean, like, how are you going to live? So
Yeah.
I bumped her up to like 1,700 slowly. I got her up to 1,700, and within 3 weeks she was losing weight.
that's
And
crazy.
and it's like, but obviously you can't raise food forever, right? There's gonna have to be times where you pull back too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's where,
The
I mean,
deficit. Yeah.
very few people can
Yeah.
coach themselves. Like I would prefer to have G do that for me, so I don't have to overthink it. But
No, but it actually, you underestimate like how important it is to have. Of course, I'm not saying bodybuilding like you should be eating a lot of food and all the shows. There's gonna be a moment where you need to like suffer a little bit. And I'm telling you this because I always talk this to Maria, my friend. We always talking. And if you guys wanna like invite her, she is like amazing. She knows so much about it. And we always talk about how strong we are because touching the 600, 700 calories. And I was like all in, like focus. I was like, I don't care. It's still like all in, gas, 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 gas. Let's get it. Let's win it. And then right now when I'm eating more food, I'm still hungry. And then I go back, I was like, letting chill. Remember when you used to eat 600, 700 calories? You
Yeah.
still gonna get hungry. Still, like, let's say you increase your calories and you get to the point where you're eating 2,000 calories, and then your body adapts to those calories and you're still hungry. Then, then those are the moments where I'm like, go back to the first days when I was doing bodybuilding and I was eating 700 calories. And I was like, I'm not complaining. I'm okay. Like, I'm not hungry. Because sometimes you're
Yeah.
not hungry, you're just anxious and you feel like you're hungry,
Yes.
but you're not. Or maybe your metabolism is like,
Or you just need more water. Some people
what is it?
Thirsty.
they need more
Yeah.
water because if you're dehydrated, your body
Yeah.
can sometimes think you're hungry when you're in fact you're actually thirsty.
Or you're bored. Or like
Or you're
sometimes
bored.
when I'm resting, I'm always hungry. I was like, why am I so hungry when I'm resting? It's just because I don't have nothing to do. Like I'm here, like
Yeah.
looking, and then what is the first thing you want to do? Open the fridge and see what
Rice
is in it.
cakes.
I was thinking about this in the car today, guys.
Chocolate,
I was
chocolate
actually
rice cakes.
I was thinking about this, right? I was comparing in my mind. I was like, okay, someone that wants to quit cigarettes or
Yeah.
someone who wants to quit cookies. But the difference is there are a lot of similarities, but the difference is that you still have to eat, whether it's chicken and rice or whatever, right? So the act of eating something, it has to happen every single day. The act of putting a cigarette in your mouth does not have to happen every single day. So, and I'm not saying that quitting cigarettes is easy, but I'm just saying like the reason why I think it's so hard to quit some of these, vice foods is because we're in a constant state of thinking about the kitchen.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? Like back then, last year, I think, I was one of those girls, no, last year, like when I was in a really bad situation and a really bad relationship with food, I got really upset when people was walking with food or inviting me to restaurants. My husband, like, let's say he want to go on a day and I was like, you're always on prep 365. Like I didn't want to eat or see, as I said, I was just like my rice and chicken, I didn't want to go anywhere. And right now I feel like because not because I'm doing macros, but because I'm stronger, like mentally, like I can still enjoy. I think that we attach too much to the food. We are so attached to food that we think that every kind of relaxed time or what's it called, social event, it has to be food related. And sadly, it is like this. Every time you go out with your friends or something, it's drinks involved and food involved. But there's so many ways that you can. I told my husband, like, I can go out. I can go out. If you want to eat, you can eat. I can get a Diet Coke with ice. I can get a salad, and if I am hungry, I will get a salad. But you don't need to restrict yourself and be so upset about why others are eating. Because end of the day, you decided to compete. You decided to step on do a show. Nobody's forcing you to do it. So if you cannot eat because you're on prep, don't get mad at others just because
Yeah.
you're on prep. So
Facts.
Big facts.
now, yeah, seriously, like I don't get. I was like, are you gonna cry about it? Like nobody's forcing you, my love. Like nobody's forcing you to do a show. Don't do it, and that's it. You're gonna go. You're gonna be happy. You can go out, have the drinks, eat the food that you want, and that's it. Then don't call yourself a quitter just because your brain control you more and
The mouth.
because sometimes those moments where, like, how do you call it, when the momentary, how do you say it, when
Instant gratification.
yes, that one, yeah. So if you want to just feel that for that moment instead of waiting a little bit until you finished,
Well,
then
there's instant gratification and delayed gratification. I,
yeah.
I I think when you have that goal. But let me transition real quick because I think you're our first couple bodybuilder. Like your husband competes as well.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that and
Yeah.
how you guys manage stress and how you manage a lot of those variables in between you guys? Because there
We
is a lot of traveling too that you
yes.
guys do.
Well, you're talking like at the beginning or just basically the last couple weeks. So
Let's compare from the beginning because it is a transition, right?
it
It is a
is.
transition to that.
So, Baran he used to be in a different federation, WFF or something like that. He became a pro in that federation. He's been on it for more than 10 years. And after that, he decided to do the switch and do Amateur Olympia back in 2020, I believe. That's when we met. I think it was after COVID that it was Amateur Olympia in Orlando. I was in Orlando. That's how we met. And then after that, I didn't want to have a long relationship. He's from Turkey. I was living here. He came here and we end up getting together and we decided to do a prep together. The easiest prep, when he wasn't in a bad mood, because, prep gets you some days and, moody, or you're not in the mood to talk. Like, he's the most quiet person. Like, he's just minding his business. I mind my own business. I always, since day one, I had the mentality that I do this and nobody's forcing me to do it. So I didn't have a really bad reaction to people. I was just like, if like I was not in the mood of talking, I wouldn't talk. Like, I never had like any arguments, or we never fight about it, because we understand that we're doing this because we want it. And we end up both winning our show. We won the overall show. He had to requalify for nationals, and we end up doing a regional show. We won the overall after that.
Same show.
We did the same show. We both won the same show. He won the men's physique, I won bikini, and then after that, I took a long off season. I wasn't able. After that show is when everything went downhill for me, and he kept, his improvement season. He was working with a coach, and I supported him basically. Like, he competed last year. He did 5 shows. I was still on prep, but it was basically recomping, fixing my metabolism, working on myself. But I was traveling with him for his show. We went to Sweden, we went to Portugal, we went to
Universe, right?
We went to Universe.
I remember you at Universe, and just a quick little, story. It was just so cute seeing you go back and forth and just like waiting for him to go on stage. You're so nervous for him. But
Yeah.
as that my girlfriend's getting into it,
Yeah.
it's just dope to see that type of energy between you two.
Yeah,
So
because I live people, like I live, like if you're competing, you're my friend. I live your experience. Like, I love
You live through
bodybuilding
them.
so much through you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, I think that the reasons why right now when I'm competing, sometimes it's like, oh, you better stay with the dogs. I go by myself because if it doesn't go good to me, I feel like he suffers more for me, because it hurts me when he was not getting the results that I wanted for him.
yeah,
So I think the opposite, like if he doesn't see, like the same way, like if I don't get my pro card, he gets hurt, or he feels like I'm suffering, and my suffer, it hurts him
it
and
hurts
things
him.
like that. Yeah. So right now what we manage to do is just like, you stay home, I travel, I go. But when he competes, like I go with him, like especially if it's out of the country. Like, he did 5 shows back to back, and after that he decided to take a long break. And
Well, because he did Miami with Chris. He was at that
he
show.
did Miami.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember him backstage. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the first time I seen him in person.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a good physique, and he's still coaching with Ishmael.
I don't know. That is a good question. I don't really know. I think he's on a break. He's not prepping with anybody. Like,
Okay,
I mean, they're still talking, but in terms of prep, like he's just taking a break. He was getting, like, a bacteria in his stomach, and he was trying to fix all of those situations before kind of like jumping into a prep. He's not thinking right now about prepping either. So the most important is that I always tell him, like, what's the point of you, competing if you're not building the physique? Like, I want him to really build his physique, bring a really good off season. But with this bacteria, things kind of buck up a little
complicate.
bit.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I don't, he's like, it's all about me this year. I'm competing until July. I'm taking a break. Like, I call it like the detox and a little break for me. If I don't get it in July, then I'll try last show in December and keep going until,
Lynn, how do you guys
July, the
handle?
universe?
excuse me?
Is it the universe in July?
Who, me?
Yes.
Well, I'm doing all the national shows.
Are
Oh,
you
okay.
still
Okay.
going
You're
to
running the
Europe?
gauntlet.
Are you
Yes.
still going to Portugal?
I'm still what?
Were you going to Portugal? Did you say you were doing your next
I
Olympics?
was, but not anymore. Like my coach said, let's focus a little bit on the density. And I think
Oh,
the
okay.
first show is USA. So we have like 11 weeks to prep. I'm prepping because I'm still prepping, but technically we are a little bit rebounding and putting a few pounds up. So I'm not that stage lean or stage ready and a little body fat to put that density that we need. And then when we are like, let's say 8 weeks out, that's when we
Start. Yeah.
start.
And going
And
back to the relationship piece for a second, how did you guys handle being able to give each other constructive criticism? Because you just mentioned something very, very interesting. You basically said, hey, you were supporting him to take an off season to make the improvements he needed. Some people obviously might take that the wrong way, right? If their partner's telling them that. I mean, my ex competed, and I've experienced this firsthand of that little dance, that awkward dance where it's like I want to help them, but I also want to make sure I'm not getting in their own head.
I think
Um,
my husband is really it's a good listener, and he trusts me, and he knows that if I say something, it's not because I want to do something in the bad way. It's something that I want him to do that good for him. And I have a good eye, not only for bikini, but for any other division, because I really like bodybuilding and I'm trying, and I wish I could learn more about the other divisions, but I learn a lot. And I always like have the eye out for like posing. Where are you putting your hand? Why are you moving so much? Why are you not controlling your midsection? You're letting the abs out, and those things. Maybe I sound rough, but those are things that he keeps in mind, and then next
Yeah.
time he practice those things, so he doesn't take things in the negative way because he wants to be better. And that is something that, if I said a few minutes ago when we were talking about the ego, if you're not willing to learn and put the head down and learn from others, I'm not saying I know more than him, but it is, it's a team. I'm by your side. I want you to do better. I'm
Yeah.
not telling you this or to tell you to hurt your physique, but to improve.
Mhm.
And I think that is communication, to communicate, to
yeah.
tell things the right way. And I always say, it's like, do you think you deserve a broker? Are you taking posing classes? Where's your posing class? Do you hire a posing coach? Because there is not so much you can do. Like, there's so, like, I always say, like, he could have got his broker because posing was not on point. You can destroy your physique by not posing correctly.
100%.
Yeah.
So I think I'm glad that he's such a good listener, and that's how we really are good communicating when I'm on prep. Like, I was like, listen to your coach, but this is my opinion. And he always asks me, like, what do you think? And I think he trusts me, and that's the reason why.
And it's not
Eh,
even about like who knows more necessarily. It's like
No.
it's imagine you have a plate of food, right?
Yeah.
You can have all the knowledge in the world, but something is always going to fall off because if you're in prep mode, you're thinking about your cardio, you're thinking he's not thinking about his core and
Yeah.
holding it in tight, but you might be. So it's also like a trade of thoughts. It's not necessarily like, oh, they're telling me to do this, therefore they think they know more than me in the sport. It's not
Yeah.
about that
Yeah.
at all.
It goes
Humility.
all about the ego. I think
Humility. Yeah.
humility, be humble to learn from whoever. You
You
don't.
have to be willing to take constructive criticism. Oh, lights off.
My power went off. I hope
No way. Well, that's it,
Well, is
guys.
your Wi-Fi still on though, right?
is it the light or what happened?
Well,
Well, it's
this
okay.
is
I'll turn
the
here.
first ever power outage of
Hey,
the lifted pod. We'll all
We'll,
No.
we'll, we'll
that
all go. We'll all go in the
that
dark. Let's
was
see.
scary because all I seen Lynn's face is like, I'm like, oh
Wait, what happened? Really? Wait.
we could take a little break. We could take a little break.
Yeah,
See,
okay.
yeah. See what's going on.
Hi, it's back. It's
Okay.
All
back.
There
right.
you go. There you
All
go.
right.
That was funny.
Well, to bring in this question, I guess, do you have any advice for people like that are in relationships, dating other bodybuilders, and how to make it work?
Can you repeat that or rephrase that for me?
Like just how do you guys like any advice to make a bodybuilding relationship work?
So I think if you both want to compete, take turns. Don't do it together. It might not work together, and it's better if you give me your time and support me. And this is what I do with Brian. I said the first 6 months are yours and the other six are mine. So this year, just because of these situations with the stomach, and he decided to take a complete year off. So it's all the support, it stirs me. Like, and sometimes for you guys, the building phase, it's longer. You guys
Long.
maybe in 1 year can't even compete because you need to grow, or things happen, injuries happen. So in this case, the best advice is like, let me do it. Let's say, let me pick 3 shows or 2 shows. I'm gonna try 2 shows. If I can, then it's your turn, and then have in between a little bit of break for you guys to like have a date or go on a little vacay and have time for each other. And I
And
think that
reconnect.
is
Yeah.
that is yeah, something that it will help the relationship, because remember, bodybuilding it's a solo sport. It doesn't matter how many people around you have. End of the day, it's you and you and you versus you, and you have to be on track for your show. And sometimes we give all to the sport that we forget who's around us,
Mhm.
and they suffer too. And that's why we were talking the other day with Boran, and I said, listen, let's play tennis. Sometimes we get into like, okay, me and my phone, he's working, I'm doing my thing, I'm going to the gym, and we don't really spend quality time together. And that is something that I decided to change. It doesn't have to go out every single day, but at least have one day a week to spend quality time with no phones, no social media related, and really create a really good relationship between me and him. And that will be the advice for couples that wanted to compete, like take turns. Because if you don't have the character and you guys have the same, how do I say this, the same way to react to situations, you guys gonna crash.
Mhm.
So if she wants to compete, let her do her thing, 1 2 shows. If it does go the way you guys want it, then good, and then it's your turn.
I guess the only flip side of that, the risk is, if you take turns, then I guess one of you is going to be on prep, at all times. Whereas if you do a prep together, you can then have an off season together and maybe let off the gas a little bit. But I mean, like you said, he took a year off, so he hasn't even
Right, but
done,
remember, like, if you both are serious about competing, then your off season should be as serious as your on prep. Like
No,
you,
it is. It's just you're not having the stress of it's 10 weeks out. I have to, or you get closer, you're water cycling, and there's all the other factors that come into prep. It's a little more simple, right? You just go put
yeah.
on the mask. Um,
But we always need someone to have less stress. So if that one is stressed, then the other one.
Balance.
Could bring them down.
balance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
The
let's say,
yin and yang, right? The peace sign.
yeah, yeah. Because sometimes I tell Brian, I was like, I don't like how I look today. Because he always asks me, how do you like your check-ins today? I said, huh. He said, okay, let me see you. He's like, you're looking good. Like, but he's not so expressive, but he still says things. He said, talk to your coach, ask your coach, do this, say this. And, having someone that calms a little bit you down, like, 'cause sometimes you can go against this, like it's prep. Sometimes you're gonna see things that you don't see, and sometimes you see things that they're
You're
not there.
human.
Like
Yeah.
sometimes
You get in your head a little
you
bit.
get in your head and you get the goggle, like how do you call it, like goggle,
Tunnel
the
vision.
yeah. So you're like, so today, like I was posing and I caught myself, and I was so like, I was like doing my front pose, and then I do this like touching my waist like it was thick. But then I go to, and I was like, it's not thick. And it's just my eyes trying to perceive my physique in a way that it's not there. And it's just because the fact that my weight it's up, I started to find ways in my physique to make me think that, oh, it's because your weight's up, your physique is changing, or it's looking horrible. So
Yeah.
those things are something that he helps me a lot to like, no, you look way better than what you looked 2 days out. And having someone that doesn't have the stress of prep to kind of like balance things. And that's
Give
why,
you that reassurance.
yeah,
Well, the brain will see what you want it to see,
yeah.
right? So there was an ad, I
Mhm.
forget what it was for, but it was a news anchor, and at the end of the ad they said what color tie was he wearing, and no one could answer it. But then if you had watched it from the beginning and you said, okay, Lynn, tell me what color tie is he wearing? You'd be like, oh, he's wearing red because you're looking for the red tie. But if you're just watching and you're not looking for something specific, you're not going to see it.
Yeah, I have like I think there was one too about the dress. Everybody it went viral on
Yeah.
the internet
Is
that
that
you
the white gold dress?
the white or blue and the blue or gold, something like that. And it was like I
Yeah.
swear, yeah. So it's all about here. And yeah,
Mindset,
mindset.
mentality.
I'm trying to find this
Yeah, mindset. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
this white gold dress. I think it was.
Ah, yes.
I mean, that's what they're showing. Like everyone would
Oh
see differently.
yeah, what was
But
that the little trend?
I think
Is
it
it
was.
white or gold or blue and
Yeah,
black or something
I
like
think
that?
it was this dress.
Yeah. When you were like scrolling and seeing like I was like, no, but I see blue, and people were like, no, but I see white and gold, or yeah, it's crazy.
Psychology.
Psychology.
Um, I know we asked for some questions from the audience. Which I know
Okay.
did you get any, Lynn, on your page?
I didn't check, and if I did, it disappeared probably. Sorry, I'm really bad.
I think they should still be there.
Uh, no, no, it's not. It disappeared already. It's in the
Yeah,
24 hours.
if you go to your notifications,
Okay.
it will show if there was a response. Like, uh, I have one for you. Okay, so what is the most challenging part of traveling on prep?
What is the more challenging
Most
part?
challenging part of traveling on prep?
Oof, everything. I think the most challenging for me is the food because what I in this let's say for the Arnolds, I was staying at the host hotel because my coaches stay at the host hotel and it was crazy cold. I could have rented an Airbnb and then go and see my coach, but it was crazy cold, and I was like, I'm lean bean, I can get sick, I'm not gonna risk it. So I end up bringing all my food. My hotel had a fridge, but then I was scared that the food get damaged, and that is the challenging part. You need to eat cold food, you need to go downstairs to warm up the food, and then sometimes you're just tired and you don't want to go downstairs to warm up the food, and you end up eating a cold food instead of being on your Airbnb. But I'd rather be in the same hotel as my coach so I can just go next door and then have her checking in person. So for me, that is the food, the how to manage all the meals and be able to eat at least, even if it's chicken and rice, a little bit warm and yummy instead of, I didn't have a kitchen where to cook. And especially when you're burning food, you need to eat more and more and more. And then having cold sweet potatoes is it's not fun and it's not something that you want. So that for me, the food, the management, how to manage my time, the that is with the troubling, the food, I'll say, yeah. If you ask me about show day, I still don't like peak week, but all peak week, I don't like it. It's challenging for me. The 3 a.m. makeup appointments, waking up like super early, doing check-ins, all of those things, still not my favorite part.
You
I
guys have
had
a lot more to worry
yeah,
about than we do.
I had another two questions. As a bikini, competitor, what does your workout split look like?
For me, right now, I train. I'm at the moment doing 30 minutes cardio, 7-7. I'm doing 3 glute days, and one from those 3 days, I do one hammy focus and 2 upper body days, back and shoulders. I don't train biceps or triceps.
All right.
Two rest
Enough.
days.
What was that, G?
So you have two rest days?
I do have 2 rest days, yes.
Okay.
And sometimes I push a third day if my body needs it. I'm so into resting. If I feel like I'm gonna do a cheaty workout, I'd rather just take the day off and just focus on my cardio, like get the 30 minutes out and my steps, which at the moment are 9,000. And that's it. But I really take rest days as important as my workout days. It's pointless for you to go to the gym and just train bad if you feel like your body's not recovered, especially when you're training really heavy on your lower body,
Yeah.
or vice versa.
What's your ultimate goal in the sport, and how do you see yourself evolving as an athlete from here?
I think that I wanted to be the girl that I can inspire other girls to that everything is possible. As I mentioned earlier, when we started, I don't have a sports background. I never did any sport whatsoever. That you always can get better if you're committed to your goals. If you're disciplined enough to learn, put the head down and just focus on what you put yourself into it, which is in my case, competing. I see myself, I never started this journey thinking I want to win the Olympia. That was never my goal. I want to turn pro. And one of my goals is to win a pro show and be the first Peruvian to qualify for Olympia. If that happens, I will be happy about it. I don't care if I place last at the Olympia, but the goal that I wanted was
You made it to the O,
I made
basically.
it to
You say
the
that now. You say that now. Wait till you get
yeah,
there.
no, for sure. Like I'm super competitive, and as I mentioned before, I'm not worried about the future.
Yeah.
I'll let God guiding me into what's meant for me will be. If it's
I
meant
love
for
it.
me to win the Olympia, then I will win the Olympia. But if it's not, then I'm gonna keep pushing to win my pro show and then get there. And that's it. I'm the first one. And it's funny because I was talking to someone today. I was like, um, I hope my other girls, because there's so many, I want everybody to succeed. I don't care if you do better than me. And I'm like, because there's some girls in Peru that they turn pro and last year and they're still in their off season. I'm like, please stay in the off season because I'm like, I want to be the first one. But I'm not the first one, I'm gonna be the second or third. It's okay. I'm still,
Yeah, you still
one
be
of the
remembered.
few that at least represent my country in a way because I really want to pushed Peru or the girls in Peru to do a little bit to put bodybuilding into their life. Like, because there's in my country, there's a complete opposite concept of bodybuilding. They think that you need to push a lot of stuff that the girls will look like a man and they're gonna look so muscular and they're and all this stuff that it's the opposite. Like, it takes a lot. I feel like girls who are committed to build nice physiques um are like top you get me. So I was just like, that is my ultimate goal in bodybuilding and inspire others. Like basically that's always the goal, inspire and motivate more people to jump into it, that you can control your, like, I think like bodybuilding made me the person that I am today thanks to bodybuilding. Yeah.
I love that.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Well, Lynn, we'll be there when you make it to Olympia. We'll
Thank
be
you.
supporting.
When you make it to the Olympia.
Yeah,
When
when
I
you
make
make it to
Yes.
Olympia. Yeah, when you make it.
Yeah.
I told you there. I mean, the reason why we're doing this podcast is to connect with like-minded athletes, also to give a platform not only to the pros but also to amateurs like yourself who have been giving everything you possibly have into the sport, and sharing this energy and this passion you have for it with others. And we can't wait to see what you do with this because
Yeah.
just you being a student of the game,
Yeah.
constantly learning. I mean, you really are controlling all the controllables, and so really all that's left is time.
No, and thank you so much, guys, for having me. I actually, like, I had this idea back so long ago that I think I mentioned to you, like, I wanted to do similar, like, it was called the Amateur Podcast, because I know pros always give their insight of, like, how it was their journey, but they're already up there. They already accomplished their goals of turning pro and doing pro shows. But I think amateurs, we are as important as and experience a lot more than what the other people already experience. And I think we all are in this together. And I think the amateurs have so much to share. And we are always like in constant what's called learning experience. Like we always learning, even if you're pro, you're still learning. You can learn from the amateurs or you can learn from people on top of you. So that is super cool of you guys doing this show, inviting everybody, and you know, that way you can get to know other people too. So congratulations on your podcast, and I hope I did it good,
No,
and you
Oh,
guys.
You
Lynn,
did
you're
wonderful.
very
Thank
easy to
you.
talk to,
this
and
was
you
a
have that good
blast.
you got good energy. So
Thank
This was a
you.
blast, and we're gonna want you back. We're gonna want you back
for
Ah,
again.
sure.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. When you get that pro card this year,
Yes,
we'll
we are
invite you right
Yeah,
getting
back
we
the
want
on.
we
board. Listen,
uh
the question that I got on my check-ins every day, it is my coach always asks me, like, what is, I'm gonna read it for you. So you guys know I'm not lying. So she asked me, what's motivating and inspire you? And I said, my determination and resilience to keep working for my goals. I want to turn pro in 2025 and I will work extra hard for it. So record this.
Yes,
And
this
I'm
is the
like, I'll
year.
be holding it. Like, even if
Bro,
it's the last
Yeah.
December, even if it's in December, we
Yes.
are getting that pro card, guys. So
yeah,
Never give up. Let's
yeah,
go.
you're gonna get it. And you know, and I also feel fortunate to be able to train at a gym like Fitness System, where just the quality of the athletes, not only for being an athlete, but also their character as a person.
yeah.
You know, I really haven't met anyone that I don't vibe with. And so I was telling Chris I would love to have like a show that's like gym against gym. I think that'd be so cool to have the different athletes from different gyms go after it,
Yeah.
go against each other. But let's take a photo for the
Wait, 1 second. 1 second. Why are you doing this? I have a
He wants to,
visitor
he
Sne-
that
wants to be
sne-
is,
on the he
I
wants to
heard
be on
him.
the
I heard him sniffing. I'm like, man, he hasn't seen his mom in an hour and a
he
half.
wants to be here.
he wants to be in the photo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
get him in the photo.
Okay. Yeah, I'm here. But okay. So
That's
Um,
awesome.
I guess it's
uh,
over. I enjoyed it
Yes.
so much. Love talking. I think there's still so
man,
many
we
more
we could talk
topics.
to you all night long if you wanted.
Yeah,
Just be
no, for
respectful of your
real.
time.
Like I feel like there's so many other topics that I would love to, talk about. I think this podcast it was not too long, and I think there's so many others. But anytime you guys
Yeah.
want me in, like just count on me.
Yeah,
And we'll talk to you on the side about any other friends or athletes you know
yeah.
that want to come on.
Yeah, absolutely. Like as I said, I have so many friends, and Maria is one of them. She has way more experience than myself, and she would definitely love to, be on your podcast. She's a great and awesome athlete and person too. Like you guys
If,
will vibe
feel
with
free
her.
to share my number or our Instagram
Yeah,
page,
Instagram,
and
absolutely.
yeah, and we'll be happy to connect with them for sure.
Okay, super.
All right, Lynn.
Thank you
Well,
very much.
we will see you at
Stay
the
blessed,
gym,
Lynn.
Bye
and
bye.
I'll see you hip thrusting and smiling.
Yes.
Okay. Bye,
Bye,
guys.
guys. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Take care.